Coming to you live from Dunning Field, Ian Nicholas, Carter Ellis, the rest of the NCTV crew. We're going to have a live action of this one following the phenomenal game that was just played half an hour ago between Darien and New Canaan. For boys lacrosse, we have the New Canaan girls lacrosse team's final home game of a regular season. New Canaan now 13-0 on the year. The girls lacrosse team, the third best team in the nation, and they will be battling the 5-8 Fairfield Warde Mustangs. I'm joined once again, just like for the boys game, with Carter Ellis, who joins me on the call for the girls. And Carter, this girls team has been phenomenal all year. They're looking to win their first FCAC championship since 1993, and the tournament starts next week. And they're the third best team in the nation, led by some players who are really phenomenal. From McKenna Harden, Kaylee Harden, Dylan Patton, Hollis Mulry, some phenomenal upperclassmen in this program.
Absolutely. Just last game that we saw, bringing up the guys' game, Andy Demopoulos in net for Darien, a commit to Brown University. New Canaan girls have their own Brown University commit.
Yes.
And, also led by both the Harden sisters, the North Carolina bound players. They definitely have a lot of talent and a lot of leadership behind Kristen Woods.
That they do. 15th year with the program for Coach Kristen Woods, looking to win, again, her first FCAC title. They were runner-ups in both FCACs and states in the 2019 season. This time around, her team 13-0. They've got 2 more regular season games, looking to stay undefeated. They play Warde here tonight, and then they will travel on the road to play Staples on Saturday. And then the FCAC tournament will begin, starting with the quarterfinals right here on Dunning Field for the girls on Monday. We will have that live stream for you then. But here, again, New Canaan versus Fairfield Warde for girls lacrosse in the last home game on Dunning Field until next Monday. And the last one in the regular season. 2 25-minute halves for the girls, and they're going to get it going. They just came off a 20-0, yes, a 20-0 rout of Norwalk on Tuesday for their senior night game to improve to 13-0. It'll be senior captain McKenna Harden in at the draw to start things off for New Canaan. And for Fairfield Warde, number 15, I believe, Abigail Parisi, looking to win one up against the UNC-bound McKenna Harden, the senior captain. Harden flicks it up. Warde fighting for the loose ball, and they will get it. It's number 1, Madison Mahan, the sophomore, who comes away with it for the Mustangs. Mahan coming down to defense, and she is poked from behind by Kaylee Harden. That's a violation on the star junior for New Canaan. Mahan will pick it right back up.
Yeah, Ian, this Fairfield Warde team, very young, having 5 freshmen on this squad. So let's see how they can match up against, a seasoned, very talented New Canaan team.
They get the ball to number 16, Riley Parker, the senior. Warde 5-8 on the year. Just came off a loss to Wilton on Tuesday as McKenna Harden forces the turnover, a little half spin, and she breaks free alongside the far sideline. And then whistle is blown. Violation on Warde. New Canaan keeps it. Harden swarmed as she looks to get this ball back in play. And she does, lofting it up and getting it in to Stella Nolan. Nolan moves it behind the cage to the Trinity commit. Quinn McKiernan, and that pass looking for Dylan Patton, broken up by Warde, but the rebound scooped up by Kaylee Harden.
That was a great breakup by Caroline Pratt, and another great save by the Warde senior
Caroline
goalie.
Pratt, what a play. Really good-looking opportunity for Devin Russell, the freshman, to score an easy one. And Pratt, the senior goaltender, denies her. Here comes Nolan. Nolan looks for McKiernan. McKiernan loses the ball in front of the crease. She gets it back, and she scores. Quinn McKiernan makes it 1-0 Rams. Just under 2 minutes into this game. A loose ball in front of a crease, and McKiernan playing smart and able to make that one go down.
Quinn McKiernan, the Trinity bound senior, I believe, number 21. And Harden is going to line up once again for this face-off. One loss on the game thus far. Hopefully she can bounce back. Even though she has one loss, still have one goal for the New Canaan Rams. Almost 2 minutes into this game, already has an early lead against this Warde team.
Warde is going to take over the possession here. Again, we updated the records on the bottom of your screen, so sorry about that. As you did not, maybe you do know, maybe you don't. We just streamed the New Canaan boys lacrosse game up against Darien, and those were the records from the two previous teams that played. Darien 13-1, now 14-1. New Canaan 10-4, now 10-5. But again, Fairfield Warde, their girls team 5-8 on the year, and New Canaan a spotless 13-0. This is their second to last game of the regular season as the Rams take over possession here. Looking for goal number 2. McKenna Harden will get goal number 2, making it look too easy. Working through defenders, and Harden makes it 2-0 Rams. Just under 3 minutes into this game, McKenna Harden scores 1, and so does Quinn McKiernan. The seniors making plays the game after senior night. And Fairfield Warde, they're down early, playing one of the top teams in the nation of the New Canaan Rams. And Coach Ben Levy of Fairfield Warde needs to hopefully provide a spark right now for his squad. Kaylee Harden in for this draw.
Very energetic New Canaan sideline. Both these Harden sisters is absolutely dominant for this team, and definitely a spark for their great success this year, being undefeated thus far, third in the nation, excuse me.
Yep.
And first being in the state and FCX.
Dylan Patton moves to her left, but the ball poked loose, and then she flips it up to Hollis Mulry, one of the stars of this New Canaan team. Kaylee Harden moves to her right, looking for her first goal, and she pulls it back smartly. Harden behind the cage, looking for a teammate, and Warde settling in defensively after giving up 2 quick goals. Devin Russell moves to her right. Just saw her brother earlier today, Kyle, who just finished up his first year playing lacrosse for Franklin and Marshall. Speaking of college lacrosse players, the future Trinity player, Quinn McKiernan, puts in her second goal in the first half. Shooting that one stick side low off the ground. New Canaan goes up 3-0. 3 minutes, 36 seconds into this game. They have destroyed everyone they have played in the FCX so far this year, outside of really a few teams who have given them a really solid challenge, from your Dariens to your Wiltons, who have played them close. And Warde, as you mentioned, Carter, a young team trying to adjust in the early going here up against a powerhouse.
Yes, Ian, definitely a tough team to play against for a lot of unexperienced players on the Warde squad. The Harden sisters doing it again at the face-off X. A dominant showing for these two.
Kaylee wins yet another draw control. McKiernan looking for Dylan Patton off the cut. Can't find her. Now finds another teammate. It's Kaylee Harden, and her shot misses. Devin Russell races after it, and she misses the ball, trying to keep it in play. But they're going to say, actually, no, she does keep it in play for New Canaan. Rams still possess it with under 21 minutes left to go in half number 1. And the Rams up 3. McKiernan brings it out in front, now finds Vacotter. Kaylee Harden with the pump fake and the score. Harden with her first goal of the game, joining her sister on the stat sheet. And 20:42 left in the first half, make it 4 goals for the undefeated Rams.
And these Warde jerseys are almost deceiving. I could almost think of them as the away New Canaan jerseys.
Yeah, they wear the same colors. Maybe you'd think it's a scrimmage. But New Canaan jumping on top of the Mustangs right now, dominating time of possession, just checking off every little box that they need to, and what you might consider a nice game for them to continue to work on the little things before they head into the FCAC tournament. Kaylee Harden back to the draw up against Abigail Parisi. Harden met through some contact. McKenna Harden finds the ball And another draw control 1 for the Harden sisters.
These referees are going to let them play. Definitely could have been called a foul there at the X, but, let the New Canaan offense get rolling. Might as well.
Quinn McKiernan finds Dylan Patton in the corner, bound. Patton misses wide left. Still New Canaan possession as Hollis Mulry was there to secure it.
Ian, there are many multi-sport athletes on this New Canaan squad. Both the Hardens playing soccer, and
number 5 is going to score that one, Carter, off the assist
Stella Nolan.
From Quinn McKiernan. Stella Nolan, the sophomore, the first underclassman to score in this game, and she makes it 5-0 Rams, 5:01 in this one. And you mentioned it, Carter, a lot of multi-sport athletes on the field right now. I mean, the Harden sisters are the definition of 3-sport megastars, starring on the soccer field, ice hockey, and lacrosse. Got Quinn McKiernan, basketball captain for the girls, also one of the top players on this team, and she will most likely play Trinity basketball next year too, from what she's told me.
Very impressive.
So Coach Kristen Wood certainly has the talent to work with to make this team one of the first undefeated New Canaan teams, I think, ever for girls in their program history. Kaylee Harden, again, dominating at the X right now, winning face-off after face-off. Here's Mulry. Mulry finds Harden. She spins, hopping, and she misses, but she's banged up. McKenna Harden is going to limp to the sideline as a save from Caroline Pratt. And it looks like Harden's going to be okay, but looks like she tweaked that left leg a little bit, and let's hope she's fine, as Coach Kristen Woods will talk to her as she goes to the sideline, takes a rest on the bench. New Canaan gets the ball back. Hollis Mulry with it. And let's hope that Harden is okay. Superstar athletic trainer Diane Murphy is going to go tend to her. Diane has been in New Canaan High School for 39 years, and this will be her last year at NCHS.
Is that right?
It is. It will be.
Sad to hear.
And she's done great work.
Diane's worked with the hockey team, obviously the football team. Definitely a huge role player in New Canaan athletics.
And speaking of great players for teams here at New Canaan, Dylan Patton makes it 6-0 New Canaan, 18:44 left in the first half, and the Cornell-bound Patton finally gets on the scoreboard. And when you have a player like that, Carter, especially in the sport of lacrosse, cutters who are so quick, and no matter, you know what they're going to do, but sometimes the cut is just too quick and too fast. If you're not on top of it, you're going to get beat.
Absolutely. It's all about transition in lacrosse, and once a player is just running a little too fast for a defenseman to break up the stick, it's just dangerous to see what that said player could do. Definitely hard for any goaltender to stop the play. Despite the huge lead by New Canaan in the start, I've definitely seen a good showing by senior goalie Caroline Pratt for Ward. Having 4 saves, definitely a good showing from her early on. And something interesting as well is Shay Hobbs, a multi-sport athlete as well.
Yeah.
She played, hockey her past 3 years.
Yep.
And even stepped in goal after an unfortunate system of events. Losing one of their goaltenders. She thought, hey, I'm a senior captain for the girls lacrosse team. I'll step in and take one for the team and play goalie this year. And that's what she did, and definitely showed off her leadership on the hockey team, in that sort of play.
Yes, very well said, Carter. She did step up for the hockey team to play goalie, switching positions her senior year and helping out the team there behind one of the top players in the state of Connecticut, Blythe Novick, in the terrific girls hockey program led by Rich Buellin. And for the girls lacrosse team, she's been a great goaltender as well. Obviously, we all know Claire Mahoney and what she can do as the junior. She's locked down for the Rams in the cage. But Shay Hobbs has provided Coach Kristen Woods with a dangerous duo that when she feels like Shay Hobbs can get some reps in, she can not only put her in when New Canaan has, a comfortable lead, but they can keep those leads because Shay Hobbs provides what New Canaan needs, which is just a very stable, very reliable, good backup. And Claire Mahoney's still going to play right now, but don't be surprised if New Canaan continues to roll if we see Shea come out and continue to shut down the Mustangs.
Well said, Ian. And I believe you said in the last game that we just called that Darien, do they have another goaltender that was also committed to play next year?
That they did. Carter, there were so many players committed to colleges for Darien boys lacrosse. Couldn't even keep track of them all. And I had my rosters, and of course I chucked them in the trash. There were 20 guys on the Darien lacrosse team committed to play in college.
That's insane.
And I believe outside of Andy Demopoulos, who was just named an Under Armour All-American for the Darien Blue Wave as a goaltender, I believe there was one or two other goalies who are also committed to play at the college level. So
it's amazing.
Shout out Jack Harrison. Jack Harrison, star of the boys golf team.
And star of the bomb squad for the New Canaan fan section. Absolute role player.
Absolute. Future Syracuse Orange.
Right alongside you, Ian.
Right alongside. It's going to be a great 4 years with Jack. 6-0 New Canaan. 18:26 left to go in the first half. It's been all Rams looking for win number 14. Moving to her left, Hollis Mowry doing what she does best, score. The future USC Trojan, one of a top attack in the state for girls lacrosse, gets on the scoreboard. It's 7-0 Rams. 18-18 left to go in the first half. And those shots in lacrosse really are the prettiest when you see a player really dancing in front of the crease, hesitating. Carter really feeling out the goalie and pump faking around a bit and really just putting too many thoughts in a goalie's head when you're really just drawing it out, and finally Mulry got that shot off, moving from right to left, and scored.
Right. It's definitely hard for this Warde defense to keep track of these fast-moving New Canaan Rams girls players.
Yep.
Just a lot going on, and hard to catch the fast runners on their side.
Another possession won from New Canaan. Here comes Mulry looking for another goal, and she gets it. Mulry scores, I believe, twice. They will say it counts from Hollis Mulry. 2 goals in 13 seconds for the junior. It's 8-0 New Canaan. Talk about fast moving. You said it at just the right time, Carter. Mulry moving way too quick for the Mustangs. They fall behind big. This game looking very similar to the one that was played out 2 nights ago between New Canaan and Norwalk. And again, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, if you're not playing Darien, Wilton, Staples, Richfield, one of the top teams in the FCAC this year, and you've got the daunting task to play the New Canaan girls lacrosse team, be in for a long one. Lexi Tully's going to come in for the draw, the freshman, and she wins it. She's been great for the Rams this year. Got to call the girls' game against Glastonbury on Saturday with her father, Paul, who was a great football and lacrosse player at Cornell, where her sister, Caitlin, will be attending in 2 years to continue her lacrosse career. Caitlin, a junior, tore her ACL in the pregame warm-ups of New Canaan's first game of the year up against Darien right here, that 7-5 victory. And she will miss her junior season, but will be a key piece for Coach Kristen Woods next year as a senior.
Ian, as you're just saying about the, great FCAC competition, it's not often that you see an undefeated team on the girls or guys side. No. I mean, Fairfield County is an absolute hotbed for lacrosse in the nation. Always seeing some of those public school names at the top of the national list, and always players from each team going to some great universities to play more college lax.
And also, you do have to remember this year, because of a COVID-19 pandemic, the out-of-conference games limited, and those out-of-state games non-existent for both boys and girls lacrosse. So we haven't seen boys or girls lacrosse teams match up with the top teams in New York, in New Jersey, and that's probably a very good reason, or one of the contributing factors to why New Canaan is undefeated, They've dominated FCAC competition. They've won the big games, especially their 2 games so far against Darien. But also, they haven't had to match up with the great teams of New York and New Jersey, similar to the boys. The boys, luckily, were both able to play Brunswick, which is a great team right here in Fairfield County. They play in Greenwich, but they weren't able to play some of the top prep schools as well.
Right. It's a good point, Ian. And, I mean, absolutely, Kristen Woods definitely showing off, her team going 13-0 this year. The sky's the limit with his team, but unfortunately, not this year with COVID. And I'm sure that she would have wanted to play some out-of-state teams so that she could shine a little bit more on the national spotlight as opposed to just some of the usual names that we hear in the FCAC County. So a big letdown for this squad as they're so talented this year.
They truly are. They've got great players, great coach. In the latest Nike U.S. Lacrosse Top 25 poll, ranked as the 3rd best team in the nation. They started the year unranked, right outside of the top 25. And Darien was in the top 10. And ever since the year started, New Canaan's been rising up the poll, sliding up that top 10 from 9 to 5 to 3 over the last few weeks. And Darien falling down it a little bit after their losses to New Canaan.
Do you know if that Darien girls squad is still in the top 25?
Well, let me look at my sources. I believe they are still in the top 25. The last time I checked, they were at 19. And that was after the second loss to New Canaan at home, 10-9 a few weeks ago. 14.5 minutes left to go in this game. The Rams up 8-0, looking for win number 14. And let's look that up. Top.
Right, an absolutely dominant showing. I mean, these girls are just kind of slowing it down a little bit more. They have a comfortable lead. I'm sure, as you said, Shay Hobbs might get a look in this game. And Kaylee Harden stepped out. She was limping a little bit. Haven't seen her, too much. There's no reason to get her injured again right before the postseason.
No.
Definitely more important games coming down the pipeline.
All right, so here's your latest poll. New Canaan, the top team in Connecticut, according to the latest coaches poll, and according to the National Girls Top 25, as Patton makes the pass, and Mulry's shot deflected, scooped up by Fairfield Warde, and play is stopped. New Canaan currently 3. They moved up from 5 to 3 since the last poll came out. And then Darien, 17. They've stayed in that spot over the last week. And then Wilton, also one of the top teams in the nation. They are ranked 21, up 1 spot from the week before. And those are really the only 2 teams that have given New Canaan a fight this year. Darien lost to New Canaan by 2 and 1 point, respectively, as Quinn McKiernan's got a wide-open look at the goal, moves to her right, and slows the tempo down. And Wilton came to New Canaan a few weeks ago in a game I recorded on camera, so the quality might not have been great. But regardless, they played a great game, and New Canaan only won
What a save.
by 2. Great save from Caroline Pratt, who's been one of the lone bright spots so far today for Warde. She's made a couple really big saves, and her defense hasn't done her many favors playing a high-powered New Canaan offense. Here's number 14, Mariad Coyne. And she turns it over, and the loose ball scooped up by junior Carolyn Barron. Just under 12.5 minutes left to go in the first half. New Canaan has stabilized their lead at 8-0. McKiernan waiting on it. Gets it out to Dylan Patton, who's got a goal today. Devin Russell.
And Ian, that name that we keep on saying, Caroline Pratt, the Williams girls lacrosse bound. She'll be taking her goaltending talents there next year as she is a senior.
Yes, she will join not the same program, but Harry Apelt for the boys lacrosse team, senior captain there. He will be heading to Williams as well. One of the more popular schools that our FCAC boys and girls lacrosse athletes end up in Massachusetts. Lexi Tully finds Quinn McKiernan, slowing it down. 11.5 minutes left to go in the first half. Ian Nicholas Carter Ellis and the rest of the NCTV crew bringing you the live action for our second straight lacrosse live stream of the game, of the day. We'll have plenty more live streaming for you next week for both the boys and girls FCAC lacrosse tournaments. On Saturday, we will be covering the final boys lacrosse regular season game as Devin Russell moves to her left through the entirety of the defense, missing the shot, but the loose ball scooped up by Hollis Mulray. McKiernan races toward the cage and puts one in with ease. Quinn McKiernan scores her third goal of the game. She's got a hat trick, 9th New Canaan goal, and she's got that hat trick in just over 14 minutes of game action. When you've got size as a lacrosse player, Carter, like McKiernan has, makes it a problem for defenders to find that shot.
Right, and you just saw her right behind the net there, scoop up that ground ball with ease and just, burn that Warde defenseman, getting back to the net. And she has the size, she has the speed. She was able to take it to right into the front of the net and put one past Caroline Pratt.
So Rams go up 9-0. Trinity-bound Quinn McKiernan continuing to get it done. Usually more of a passer with her ability to facilitate from X. But today, in a game up against a young opponent, working against a top-flight program like New Canaan, she's gotten a little more aggressive. Lexi Tully back at the draw, and she wins one over Fairfield Warde's number 21, Allison Palmer Jr. Here comes Tully racing down the alley.
Ian, something interesting to consider. I mean, New Canaan has been climbing that top 25 poll ever since the start of their season. They were 5 last week. They're 3 now. And they only have 2 games left in the season. They just beat Norwalk 20-0. Do you think that this could be a statement game for Kristen Woods to climb a little bit more in that national poll? Or do you think this is just a way for her girls to get some more practice before the postseason?
Look, I know Coach Woods well, and I don't think she really pays too much attention to the polling. I don't think any good coach should. But at the same time, I definitely think that she wants her team playing the best they possibly can towards the latter part of the season, knowing that they're going to get Darienne's best punch, Wilton's best punch, the top team's best punch in the postseason. I think Saturday is a bit of a bigger game for the girls, knowing that Staples is a program that can compete with the top teams. Warde, a program trying to build and trying to rebuild into a stronger team. I think she just wants her girls playing the best because she knows what this team can do in the postseason. That shot missed from Allison Palmer. It will stay with Warde.
Right, and that's one of the hard things about this year with COVID and everything is that you don't get those out-of-state games. So you just kind of have to you have to play to your ability against what you have. And I mean, the cards that Kristen Wood has dealt this year, it's unfortunate, but she has to find other ways to find her team in the national spotlight and gain the recognition that they really deserve. Because this is a very talented team this year, and they definitely deserve to be recognized for it.
I mean, even without those national games, if you will, those games against the top teams in the Northeast, we do have a great measuring stick of just how good a team New Canaan is. Because it's not like they haven't played Darien and they haven't played Wilton. They have, and they've beaten them. So we know that they've beaten nationally ranked teams. They're undefeated against Darien, who opened the year as one of the top 10 teams in the poll, and Wilton, who's been in the poll throughout the year. So although they haven't played those true contenders, speaking of players who always keep it true to the game, scoring that one, number 18, Hollis Mulray. She adds her third. So now 2 New Canaan players with hat tricks. Quinn McKiernan and now Hollis Mulray will join her with that accomplishment as New Canaan adds their 10th goal of the game. And until Fairfield Warde can bring it back to a single-digit deficit, it will be running clock here from Dunning as we are now under 8 minutes left to go in the first half. New Canaan with 6 different goal scorers on this game. McKiernan with 3, Mulray with 3, McKenna Harden and Kaylee Harden with 1 apiece, Stella Nolan and Dylan Patton 1 apiece. Warde fighting for the loose ball. Lexi Tully as well at the draw, and she will collect her own loose ball.
Right, and Ian, I should correct myself. I'm almost speaking as though, Fairfield County lacrosse is not good enough for for these New Canaan girls, but it absolutely is. They have great competition here, and Darien, as you said, was a top 10 team in the nation coming into the preseason, which is no easy task.
No.
And between Wilton, Richfield, Darien, definitely a lot of great competition.
And definitely when you also consider the fact that the ball is loose and corralled by Olivia Lockhart, you consider what Darien has done to the FCAC over the last 8 years. They made it a one-girl race.
Yeah.
I mean, Darien has won the last 8 straight FCAC titles. There's no disputing that. Those are just the facts. But this year, in a year where it's harder to win than any year before it during given the circumstances, New Canaan in a quarantine to start the year, and having to play their regular season over the span of a month as Stella Nolan will drop in that goal. It's unbelievable for what this girls' team has accomplished with Coach Kristen Woods. They just wanted to play the game so badly following a year off. They wanted to beat their arch rival so badly because Darien has just demolished the entire county over the last decade pretty much. They wanted this more than ever. And I think a pandemic, although horrible and obviously no real positives from a pandemic, but it motivated people to do better and to try to better themselves. And I think it really motivated the athletes of New Canaan High School girls lacrosse to try to make this season a special one. And we see it. They've just been running through everyone. And now they are up 11-0 with under 6 minutes left to go in the half.
Right, and motivation definitely works in odd ways. I mean, we just saw New Canaan boys lacrosse down by 6 in the first 8 minutes of
The game.
of their rivalry game, almost looking as though it could have been a game such as this one. But, New Canaan found a way after Chip Buzzio called that timeout. Holden Busby, star sophomore goalie, was able to recollect himself. They got some offense going, and they only lost by 1 in the last 42 seconds. So, definitely just interesting how, teams can recollect themselves
So quickly.
based on different catalysts.
Different motivating factors. Stella Nolan with the ball now for New Canaan. Moves it over to the senior Pippa Williams, and now the ball in the stick of another senior, Denison-bound Caroline Brooks. It is very interesting, though. You look at a team like the New Canaan boys program, you see 2 different teams. You see one team that loses to Darien 15-6 in the first 5 games of the year, and you see a second team that could have easily suffered a similar loss today, and then they end up only losing by 1. Speaking of 1, that's goal number 1 for sophomore Caroline Underwood on the evening. New Canaan now up 12-0. Under 4.5 minutes left to go in the first half. But it's just very interesting to see how teams find ways to improve, and that's when you know that you've got a great coach and a great program on your hands, when these teams are just able to change dramatically throughout the year. And New Canaan, even the girls lacrosse team, they've gotten better throughout the year, I think you could say. And really, there's no real telling because they just continue to win. But they have just not let up on any single game this year. They're treating every game like a big one, and they're giving it 100%. You've never seen them in danger of losing a game they shouldn't win. I mean, losing a game that they should win. You've never seen them come out flat. They always come out with the same energy. It looks like they treat every single game with the same amount of respect and competitiveness as they should, and that's what the great teams do.
No, exactly. And speaking on the subject of catalysts, I mean, the girls definitely got hit by the COVID bug at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
I mean, their first ever game, of the season was against Darien, and they had one practice as a team together before the biggest game of their year. Playing a top 10 nationally ranked Darien team, as you said. 8-time reigning FCAC champion. I mean, it is hard to go into a game like that with only one practice, and they ended up beating them by 1 goal. I believe.
2 goals.
2 goals.
7-5 right here on Dunning.
Excuse me. Yeah, 2 goals, and I mean nobody in New Canaan High School would have ever expected them to beat Darien. I mean, they were expecting, a tough game, and they brought their own toughness.
Yeah, they did. I mean, look, you've been in that position before as an athlete where people doubt you and they look at the previous results and they look at the team you're playing and they count you out.
Hey, yeah.
And that's a huge motivating factor. We've seen that throughout the majority of New Canaan High School sports over the years, from what the boys hockey team did this year with you guys, taking some devastating midseason losses and using that as motivation to go all the way. So with the football team a few years ago, where they were having a down regular season, everyone thought Darien on their home turf would annihilate them in 2019, and New Canaan ended up winning the game 20-0.
Right.
It speaks to the kind of coaches that this town has and the kind of athletes that this town has, that you can never count New Canaan out because they're always going to bring their best stuff towards the end of the year instead of the beginning of the year. And in the end, that's all what people matter. That's all that matters, and that's all that people remember, because nobody remembers the team that started 5-0 and finished runner-up.
Right.
They remember the team that finished with the championship hardware. And that's what Coach Kristen Woods is trying to do for the first time in her 15 years here, which is bring an FCAC championship to New Canaan High School for girls lacrosse.
Right. Now, I don't know if you were at the game. I'm sure you remember. I mean, last year, the New Canaan boys hockey team, the team I play on, lost 10-1 to Darien, and then later in the season,
I was there.
winning 4-3 in the FCAC championship, and that was something special to be a part of. And just those types of memories of, fighting through adversity, coming back, it's amazing.
Caroline Underwood with the ball now for New Canaan. She gets it to Pippa Williams for New Canaan. I remember that game well, Carter, the one where you guys got blown out by. I don't remember the actual game, but I was doing social media for it, and the Wi-Fi at Darien Ice House for people watching.
I did hear about that, yeah.
Not the most reliable. I'd have to go up into the box. They'd tell me who would score. I had to run down to, the front of the building, up and down, because Darien was scoring so much on you guys.
You were doing a lot of running.
I was doing more running than you. And then, you go from that to what you guys did at the end of the year. And that's all that matters in the end.
Right.
And hopefully the same can be said for the New Canaan girls lacrosse team. They haven't faced that adversity yet. They haven't faced the practice or two following a loss yet. And at this point, they won't unless they lose an FCAC tournament game or a state tournament game, because it looks like they're going to win today. 7 seconds left in the half now. They have a 12-0 lead over Fairfield Warde, still competing, still trying right now in this road game for a young program. And then they play Staples on Saturday, and they'll be considered the favorite in that one. We'll bring it up to the booth here in Carter. New Canaan, they look flawless in this game. There's really no getting around it. What are the key parts of postseason lacrosse that the girls can continue to improve upon now, so that when they get to that stage, even playing these lower-tier opponents in Fairfield County, they can be better prepared for those opening round FCAC games?
I mean, as you were just saying before the end of the half, they have not had one of those learning experiences yet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're 13-0. They have not lost a bad game yet. And hopefully they don't get to that point once they're in the postseason, because obviously playoffs are playoffs. One game, you lose, you're done. So they just need to keep that same energy. They need to keep the focus and just keep doing what they're doing. And that's, surprisingly kind of hard for teams to do, just to, keep the ball rolling. And, definitely, it's easy to lose focus, this late in the season.
It is, but Coach Kristen Wood, she is one of the best in the business, and she's got the team locked in every single step of the way. They're locked in right now. They're up 12-0 at the half, up against Fairfield Warde, looking to improve to 14-0 in their last regular season game on Dunning. Before we head to the halftime break, let's get a look at our sponsors. I want to thank our platinum sponsors, Walter Stewart's, your fresh local market. And it looks like we lost the video for a second, but it's back. And Rambuya and Harrow, the business of real estate. I want to thank our gold sponsor, Club Sandwich, for breakfast, lunch, and catering on 107 Cherry Street in town. I want to thank our silver sponsors, Performance PT, Educational Futures, the SIG Insurance Agencies, OSSM Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine, Renaissance Partners, Rand Insurance, and lastly, our black sponsors, Ready Rooster, Shilala, 84 Sports New Canaan, the New Canaan Diner, NC Graphics, the Athletic Shoe Factory, Togs, Dr. Austin Feeney, the Lewis School of Driving, and Prudding and Company Custom Builders. The NC Rams All Sports Booster Club supports all New Canaan High School athletics. The New Canaan Rams playing like the third best team in the nation right now. They hold a 12-0 halftime advantage up against the visiting Fairfield Warde Mustangs. Ian Nicholas, Carter Ellis, and the rest of the NCTV crew will take a quick break, and the second half will resume. Second half will begin in just about 2 minutes. See you then. Back for the second half of this one, Ian Nicholas, Carter Ellis, and the rest of the NCTV 78 crew bringing you the live action of New Canaan Girls Lacrosse up against Fairfield Warde. Lexi Tully back at the draw for the Rams, and the Rams will start this half with their senior captain in goal instead of junior Claire Mahoney. It is Shay Hobbs, number 43. She probably won't have to do too much work considering how dominant New Canaan's offense has been in the early going. But let's see if Fairfield Warde can apply some more pressure to New Canaan's players here in the second half. Caroline Pratt, the senior, still in goal for the Mustangs. As Carter mentioned earlier in the broadcast, she will continue her lacrosse career next year at Williams. So one of the stars of this up-and-coming program who will be leaving next year. Marley Smith, the senior, with the ball now for New Canaan. She moves it.
Yeah, we're seeing a few new faces on this New Canaan squad. Kristen Woods trying to get some more experience from other players. Going into the postseason, having that depth is incredibly important. We see that in a lot of Fairfield County teams. Definitely having a lot of players you can rely on is something you need in such a talented county.
Indeed it is. Coach Kristen Woods, just like all the greats, I mentioned it almost every broadcast at this point, they know how to develop the talent they have and that will be playing, and they know how to develop the talent, like the depth, and also the younger players that she knows would be the stars of her program in years to come, like Lexi Toy, the freshman, and Caroline Underwood with the ball right now, the sophomore, the players who she'll have to rely on for the years to come to keep this program in the spot it is right now. Here's Pippa Williams, another senior, and Grace Kroll, the junior.
This New Canaan squad definitely has a lot of seniors, so kind of an older team. I guess what you think about it in the law of averages, but definitely have a lot of underclassmen who get significant playing time and quite a few commitments. I mean, Kaylee Harden and Hollis Murley,
Mulry.
UNC and USC commitments, both very talented, and will lead this team next year. Hopefully to a good season to come.
Yes, 15 seniors in the class of 2021, which will be graduating this year. Definitely a great group that Coach Kristen Woods loves. Just says that they love to compete, and they do more than just that. They don't only compete, they win. It's an understatement of how good they are. And it's going to be some big shoes to fill for Hollis Mulry, Dylan Patton, Caitlin Tully, and the rest of these juniors who are going to have to step up their game. I highlighted them specifically because they are committed to play at the next level already. Claire Mahoney, another one of those players that are just going to have to step up, fill in the shoes, and continue to do what this program has done every single year, win games, and they'll find their way, just like they do every year. Grace Kroll loses the ball in the middle of the defense off the pass from Marley Smith, and Fairfield Warde nearly blows the clear, but recovered by Madison Mahan, the sophomore, and then just like that, Lexi Tully steals it right from her. Underclassman on underclassman crime, as Tully looks to take it all the way, and she does. Lexi Tully is going to add a goal for her today, her first goal, and the Rams' first strike of the second half, just over 3.5 minutes in. It's 13-0 New Canaan.
Yeah, as Fairfield Warde was just about to get something started on that clear, Lexi Tully just swarmed number one, Madison Mahan.
Yep.
And, just shut that effort right down. Definitely, keeping them honest to the last second.
Tully back at the draw, continuing to get big-time minutes here in the second half, matched up with Allison Palmer, the junior. Ball popped up to the face-off dot, and that is where Grace Kroll will speed it down the other way for New Canaan. Kroll, number 22, finds Marley Smith, meets a Warde defender down low, and then dumps it off to Kroll. Kroll loses it again, and just like that, Mahan takes over, flipping it back to the goalie Pratt. And Warde again blows the clear. Pippa Williams finds the loose ball. Heads-up play from the senior, Pippa Williams. Here's Megan Griffiths moving it to her left. Caroline Brooks nearly loses that. Just over 20 minutes left to go in this game. New Canaan with 13 goals, well on their way to win number 14, as Marley Smith can't track down that ball. And Zacalillo can't find it either. And Warde's number 21, Allison Palmer, looks to clear it. Here's number 13, Hannah Betron. Matched up with Lexi Tully. Mahan loses it for a second. And Warde is going to get one of their first real offensive possessions of the game and try to get a small victory out of this one, trying to score against one of the top teams in the nation. Coach Ben Levy and his squad just looking for some positives.
Ian, we haven't seen McKenna Harden since she stepped off,
No.
rolling her ankle. I'm sure that Kristen Woods is just trying to keep her healthy going into the postseason, but you do hope that she's all right. I guess we'll come to see their next game.
Shay Hobbs deflects that one. The shot from Allison Palmer. It will stay with Warde. I do see McKenna along the sidelines right now, and she is not on the bench. She is standing up with the rest of her teammates, so she should be fine. But I think Coach Woods knows in a game like this where even when McKenna checked out, New Canaan already had a sizable lead. She knew her day was done, and I bet McKenna Hard didn't have any problem with that. As the ball was popped up, Hobbs got her stick on it, still deflected away, and Ward picks up the loose ball and retains possession on this end of the field. Here's Mahan, one of the young stars of this Ward team. Defended by Marley Smith.
Yep. Mahan, only a sophomore, excuse me, Ian. Definitely a star. A young team rebuilding. I'm sure we will see a much different Ward team in the years to come.
Mahan swarmed by 3 Rams on defense. And then a bad pass from her will be scooped up by the Hamilton defender, the future Hamilton defender, I should say, Anna Zaccolillo. Zaccolillo meets a wall and trips near the 25-yard line. She will retain possession after the penalty on Ward. Ella Patterson, the sophomore, number 24, working up against Mahan here at midfield, and she gets right by her.
In one difference that we're seeing in this game and the past game we just called is definitely, the physicality. I mean, these girl players not wearing much padding. So the trip that Anna had, definitely an easier call for the refs to make than one that might have been in the game just prior.
Yep, Marley Smith missing the shot there. I mean, they're two completely different games when you boil it down on the rules. Very tricky in girls lacrosse. Boyd Harden called the last game with me on Tuesday. Obviously, his 2 daughters, McKenna and Kaylee Stars, in his team. And he said it right on the broadcast that he believes girls lacrosse for referees is objectively one of the toughest contact sports to call because there's just so many things that can be called. And you have to realize as a ref, what will you be calling, what won't you be calling, because, we see in boys lacrosse, it's just a different game, and contact much more permitted. There is illegal contact, but there's plenty of physicality. In girls lacrosse, it's much more a game of finessing each other out, getting those open looks, working the ball around great, and it can be a tricky thing for referees to decide, as you mentioned earlier in the game, to let them play or not.
Right, much more gray area,
Definitely, and that's what Boyd alluded to on Tuesday, his admiration for the jobs that the refs do on a nightly basis when they do girls lacrosse. Ball lost in front of a crease for New Canaan, so Ward gets the turnover, and turning it up the field is Murad Coyne. And then taking it right back for New Canaan, Lexi Tolley swiping it away from Madeline Kallenbach.
Going into the postseason, head coach Ben Levy on the Fairfield Warde side definitely want to work on the clears for their defensemen. Caroline Pratt is doing an amazing job stopping these New Canaan, attackmen, but not getting, wonderful support on the clear, which is why they haven't seen a lot of offense this game. And hopefully they'll be able to turn that around going into the all-important FCIAC playoffs.
Well, it looks like Fairfield Warde will be on the outside looking in of the tournament, moving in there and scoring. Lexi Tully, she adds her second strike of the game, and she makes it 14-0 New Canaan with exactly 15 minutes left to go in regulation. Only 8 teams for girls lacrosse will make the tournament.
Gotcha.
Girls lacrosse and boys lacrosse, both with 8, of course. It looks like they'll probably get some state tournament games, though. They should qualify for the Class L playoff, if I'm not mistaken. And that's where they'll look to improve. They'll get some time off to review the tape, improve as a program, and hopefully get those state tournament games where they can continue to try to take a leap playing some out-of-conference opponents in states.
Right. Definitely a lot different this year with COVID. I mean, for myself with hockey, no state tournament, only FCX. But they did break up the FCX tournament. There was D1, and then there was the D2 and D3 tournament, which definitely made things a lot more different. I don't really have an opinion on whether or not I liked it. Definitely different, a lot more competitive, only playing D1 teams. And then the baseball postseason is starting tomorrow. They have a 16-team tournament.
Pippa Williams scores that goal for New Canaan, makes it 15-0, just over a minute after Alexi Tolley struck. And Carter, I think it's really interesting the position you were in, because your sophomore year, or excuse me, your junior year, you win FCX. And your senior year, you win FCX, but you won them in two completely different tournament styles and playing styles.
Right.
When you talk about the road there in the first year, you won it in the second year. So I just think it's very interesting how you succeeded as a team in both kinds of formats. And one, when you look at it on paper, significantly more difficult than the other this year when you were stacked up against premier competition, not only in the regular season but in the playoffs as well.
No, absolutely, and not to toot our own horns, for the New Canaan Rams hockey team, but it's definitely a shame that we couldn't get a state tournament this year. I mean, we were definitely a capable squad. Had a great season. Turned some things around after 2 losses. We had 17 seniors on the team, so a lot of leadership as well.
Yeah.
And it just, it's unfortunate how things unfolded, this postseason.
New Canaan continuing to play that beautiful defense in the middle, not giving Warde a single easy shot all game long. The Mustangs still scoreless. It's been a great 2-year run for Coach Clark Jones and his crew with the boys hockey team, now the 2-time defending FCX champions. And luckily for our spring athletes, as the COVID-19 pandemic continues to stabilize in a good way and continues to be fought well, looks like they will get that full state tournament. It will be the first state tournament and full state tournament for high school athletes in the state of Connecticut since the fall 2019 season. Winter tournaments were cut off in 2020. There were no spring sports played last year, obviously in the heart of the pandemic. This year in the fall, there were no state tournaments for athletes. Shortened and abbreviated seasons were played. Some sports canceled. Same for our winter athletes as well. Number 13 struggling to control the ball right now, Hannah Bertrand, defended by Anna Zaccolillo. That's that Hamilton defense for you. Maybe too much of it, as Zaccolillo is charged with a foul. Warde will retain possession. Just over 11 minutes left to go in this game.
It's amazing to think that we've already been through this pandemic for over a year, Ian.
Yeah.
I mean, time, went so slowly in the short term, such a hard time for us all. But looking back on it, definitely did not seem as long as it really was.
Yep, the years are flying by, especially our high school years, Carter, as that shot missed by Madison Mahan, and it looks like she's going to get probably a free position shot. The first free position shot for either team today. Let's see if Mahan can convert against goalie Shay Hobbs and add Warde's first goal of the game. Mahan working from the right side of a cage. She will shoot and right into the stick of Shay Hobbs. Her first big save since coming in the second half for Claire Mahoney.
I believe that Shay's second save. She had the awkward save to her offside. Got a piece of it, even though it was going out of bounds. But even though she only came in the second half, has the only 2 saves of the game for the New Canaan side, at least. Caroline Pratt definitely having her surplus of saves.
Yep, she's been attacked by New Canaan, which is what they wanted to do. And actually, nope, it looks like Pratt's still in the game.
I believe not. I believe
number 30 for Fairfield Warde, who
have 30.
Unfortunately not on our official CIAC varsity roster. Maybe a newer player with the team or a jersey swap. I know she is wearing, I believe the same was for Pratt, a different jersey entirely than the entire rest of our Fairfield Warde team. Here's Caroline Brooks looking to make something happen with their team up big here in the final stages of the second half. Williams finds Kroll. Kroll over to the senior Marley Smith. Bad pass to Kate Lane. That ball looks like it will be going out of bounds and be a New Canaan turnover, and it will be.
Definitely not often that we see many New Canaan turnovers. I mean, this girls' squad is so disciplined in their ball control.
Yep, I bet Coach Woods, whenever she emails me asking me for the game film from today, will probably be hounding her players over those mistakes that they need brushed up. Caroline Brooks grabs the turnover and scores. Caroline Brooks adds her first goal of the game, New Canaan's 16th, and it comes with under 8.5 minutes left to go in regulation. Brooks playing two ways there. Oh, no, we're going to say the goal didn't count. And that it was, she was fouled on the shot, so a free position for Brooks. Do it again, and the same result. So a free position shot drilled from Brooks, New Canaan's first free position all game long, and now 1-for-1 on those shots. So now it is 16-0 Rams, just under 8 minutes left to go in the game.
Ian, after doing some tireless investigative work, I've found that number 30 is junior Abby King for Fairfield Warde's side.
The power of Max Preps. Thank you, Carter.
The internet.
The internet. Abby King. Write that in highlighter. King in net, and she just gave up that goal to Caroline Brooks, replacing the Williams-bound Caroline Pratt, who gave up plenty of goals today, but not a ton of them on her, as New Canaan has just been playing their brand of offense, which is an undefeated brand of offense. Here at the draw is Charlotte Gelhaus, and Gelhaus, the senior, wins it, and Marley Smith finds the ball midair. Smith moving inside, gets it over to Gelhaus, and it looks like just like New Canaan did 2 nights ago up against Norwalk, trying to get all of their seniors involved here late in the game. Gelhaus, usually a defensive player, and now she's on the offensive end of the field. She did not score on senior night, although the girls were really trying to get her involved and get her a score. And I also know that number 25, Kate Lane, another senior who the girls were trying oh so hard to get a goal for her as well. So let's see if the Rams can get Gelhaus or Lane on the board. It's not going to be either of them. It's going to be none of them. Kroll finds Brooks, and the save comes from King, and King loses the ball, and Griffith scores. So that's goal number 17 for the New Canaan Rams, and one of the wilder ones of the day, and it comes from senior Megan Griffiths, who scores after the ball was poked loose by Abby King, the new goalie in for Ward. Just under 6 minutes left to go in this game.
Right, now that Charlotte Gelhaus is on the face-off dot, something interesting is that Hollis Murley will join Charlotte at the University of Southern California
In a year.
In 2, well, I guess a year, yeah. No, a year from now. So, even though Charlotte will not be playing lacrosse there, she will be attending their institution for her academics.
And you can bet that she will be cheering on Hollis once she joins the program and becomes one of the top players out there in the Pac-12.
Absolutely.
Gelhaus wins the draw. Loose ball scooped up by fellow senior Kate Lane. Just over 5 minutes left to go in this game. Marley Smith with the possession for the Rams. Defended by number 10, Isadora Sotero, the junior.
Yeah, and Ian, definitely not a lot of players, or I guess students from Fairfield County going out to California for their academic careers. But for girls lacrosse, USC definitely does find themselves.
Kate Lane is going to get the goal, and her teammates really wanted her to get that one. A really nice pass inside. The whole sideline going bonkers as Lane was mobbed right after she put it in. Kate Lane, the senior who did not get the score on senior night, gets it 2 nights later. Make it New Canaan's 18th overall, 4:20 left to go in this game.
I mean, yeah, as I was saying, USC definitely does find themselves recruiting girls lacrosse players in Fairfield County. Maggie Ramsey, a face-off specialist
For Darien.
She's going to USC. She's a junior. Her older sister is also at USC.
Yeah, family
Katie
legacy.
Ramsey. And her older brother, I believe, his name's Will. He's at USC as well. No, or is he at Virginia? I can't remember.
I couldn't tell you that one,
I'll
Carl.
have to ask her.
You got the connections. I'm stuck in the box all the time. Yale House wins another draw. Just over 3.5 minutes left to go in this game. In a one-sided affair here from Dunning, which will be New Canaan's 14th win on the year. The question is now for New Canaan before they head into tournament time is will they end their regular season a perfect 15-0? You know, actually, I did call, as that's going to be a New Canaan turnover off an errant pass right to the New Canaan bench. I did call the last New Canaan girls Darien game at Darien alongside DAF Media with an assistant coach in the Darien program who coached Hollis Mulry over the summer. And she said, oh, I know Hollis well. She'll enjoy those the warm USC Trojan area much more than up here. So I guess she knew she didn't want to stay up here for lacrosse. She wanted to get out. And, hey, it's a win-win for her. Great school for lacrosse, great weather in Southern California.
I visited that school when I was on my own college journey. I visited USC. You know, it's a very, very good academic institution. Didn't end up finding myself applying there, but gosh, it was at a beautiful campus.
Well, you ended up at a great spot, Penn State.
Penn State.
Shout out to Amy and Andrew, DAF Media advisor, who's helped us put together our joint collaboration streams, just like the one you might have seen earlier today, up against New Canaan Darien Boys Lacrosse, and you will be joining the Nittany Lion family this fall as Grace Kroll breaks free.
Yes.
Kroll slows it down, defended by number 7, Amelia Melody.
And to our viewers, if Ian hasn't mentioned, he's going to the Newhouse School of Media or Communications.
Newhouse School of Communications
at Syracuse.
Yes. Definitely not a school Hollis Mulry would want to end up at otherwise. And she did not.
Much different than USC.
I'm a cold weather person.
What can you say?
What can I say? New Canaan up 18-0 in this game, just over a minute and a half left. They're going to pick up win number 14 on the year. Meanwhile, Fairfield Warde, who will not qualify for the FCAC tournament, will drop to 5-9 and lost to Wilton earlier this week on Tuesday, and now they will lose to Darien. So it's been a tough schedule for Fairfield Warde this week, playing 2 of the top 22 teams in the nation in the span of 3 days. Wilton Tuesday, Warde today, or New Canaan today.
That is quite the schedule.
Just under a minute left. Behind the cage, Griffiths. She's got a goal today. Marley Smith, New Canaan just passing it around the perimeter. Draining the clock out. And Coach Kristen Woods getting win after win, making it look easy in the FCAC. And we all know where her attention lies now. She would tell you we're on the Staples or something along those lines. But these girls know the talent they have. And the next time we will be live streaming one of their games, it will be during the FCAC tournament. Again, New Canaan won the first ever FCAC tournament for girls lacrosse back in 1993. They finished runner-up 12 times since then.
Wow. And
they're going to look to finally snap the cold streak and win one this year under Coach Woods. We will be live streaming their home FCAC game quarterfinals round on Monday. On Wednesday, their game will be played in Wilton if they advance. That game will be live streamed on both NCTV 78 and DAF Media as we bring it up to the booth. And then, as we have said throughout the day on our boys lacrosse stream and now on this stream, we will be live streaming both the boys FCAC championship game and the girls FCAC championship game. It would be quite a treat if both of them playing right here on Dunning Field next Friday. It would be both New Canaan teams in that game. That would be something to see, Carter. This place would be rocking. And if it's not, it's not. But for the girls' side of things, I don't want to jinx them. It really does look like New Canaan is going to get there. And as long as they don't beat themselves, they've got a good chance to finally get over the hump and win their first this year.
I'm right there with you, Ian. I mean, what a privilege to have 2 great lacrosse teams this year and to have FCX hosting, you know, the playoffs at Dunning Stadium. So hopefully both squads can get something going. The girls can keep their momentum, and the guys can, you know, just build off of their tough loss to Darien today. I mean, what a great game, but definitely tweaks to be made.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. The boys team now 10-5 following their loss to Darien on our first live stream of the game, following a classic game, which will not be forgotten for a while, but a loss of the New Canaan Rams to the Darien Blue Wave 10-9. And here in game number 2 of our doubleheader, not as competitive. The number 1 team in the state and the number 3 team nationally, the New Canaan girls lacrosse team, an 18-0 win over Fairfield Warde, who now drops to 5-9. I want to thank our entire crew again for helping us out today. Emily Fox producing back-to-back games, Eva Campbell providing the camera work for back-to-back games, and Carter Ellis, first girls lacrosse stream in the bag for you this year, and you doing back-to-back games. Ian Nicholas signing off one last time, but before I do, let's get a look at those sponsors for the 4th time today. Carter Ellis, bring us through our sponsors.
I will do that. To our platinum sponsors, we have Walter Stewart's right here in town, Rambuya and Harrow Real Estate. We'd like to thank our gold sponsor, Club Sandwich, breakfast, lunch, and catering right on Cherry Street. Our silver sponsors, Performance Optimal Health, Physical Therapy, Educational Futures, the SIG Insurance Agencies, OSSM Orthopedic Surgery, Renaissance Partners, Residential Construction, Rand Insurance, and to our black sponsors, Freddie Rooster, Sheila Law, 84 Sports, New Canaan Diner, NC Graphics, Athletic Shoe Factory, and Togs, and Austin Feeney Orthodontics. Also the Lewis School of Driving, and Pregame & Company Custom Builders.
The NC Ramsau Sports Booster Club supports all New Canaan High School athletics. Carter, thank you so much for doing that. Thanks so much for calling both games today. Doing great as always, continuing to shine.
Thank you, Ian.
Ian Nicholas signing off one last time. Your final score here from Dunning. New Canaan girls getting the win when the guys came up just short, unfortunately. They couldn't go 2-0 here today on a Thursday. A beautiful Thursday from Dunning Field. New Canaan 14-0, third best team in the nation, best team in the state. One more game left to go in the regular season. It is Saturday on the road in Staples. We won't have the live stream for you, but we sure do hope Coach Kristen Woods and company finish off their undefeated season, as they should. Meanwhile, Fairfield Warde will drop to 5-9 on the year, getting shut out by New Canaan. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great night, everybody. Ian Nicholas saying good night.